My guest today is Mounir. Mounir is the founder of Velora, which of course is an intent-based trading protocol. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, we'll learn all about it today. Welcome to the show, Mounir.
Thank you, Andy. Nice to meet you. Happy to be here.
Hey, nice to meet you too, and happy to have you here. Let's do what we do at the beginning of the show. It would be super cool if you could please introduce yourself. Would love to hear a little bit of your personal and professional backstory. What have you been doing in the lead up to founding Velora?
Sure, yeah. So I started my career as an engineer. So by training, and most of the experience I had was a software engineer. And in 2017, I got into crypto almost full time. I would say I had a Web2 type of job, but I think I ended up converting everyone in my team into crypto. To the point that I had to leave this job to just build something in crypto. I didn't even know what to do exactly, so I experimented a lot with few things till 2019, where I landed in what used to be called Paraswap and now called Velora after the rebranding we did a few months ago.
Very good. And well, that's a good place to start. Just for some people may have heard of Paraswap and will be familiar with that. What was the idea behind the rebrand?
What's a lot of things. So Paraswap has been always known as a DAX aggregator or a middleware, how we used to call it. Basically, you use Paraswap to access liquidity on chain across multiple chains. We integrate with hundreds of liquidity sources and maybe tens of thousands of liquidity pools in running these fancy algorithms in order to find the optimal route. But the thing is, with aggregators, as we know them today, they do what we call a transaction mode. So it means as a user, we give you a proposal, which is, hey, route this trade using Uniswap, Balancer, you name it, and execute the trade yourself. If that works, fine. But if it doesn't, you as a user have lost the gas. You have to retry the transaction again and so forth. So I think the execution quality is not optimal, but also other things. And intent-centric protocols, as Velora today, is the response to these inefficiencies, which means we abstract gas for the user. We take care of the transaction, so the user doesn't have to worry about getting front run on chain. The transactions go into a private pool. And also the mechanics behind the auction system that we can get into makes the price even more optimal for the user. So it means like we provide just a superior service. And that's a product we launched last year. It's called Delta. And we recently also added crosschain. So we thought that we are really pivoting into a new product. We still run the aggregator, but we think that this is the future where users don't need to worry too much about the execution, MEV, also gas price, and all of those things. If you think about it, those are too technical stuff that and user doesn't care. As a user, I care just about what I'm buying and what I'm selling. And the details of the execution, I just need like that you as a protocol to respect my criteria. Like I want this price or I want a 1% less at maximum, and that's all. I don't need to know anything else. And I don't need to care if the asset I'm buying or I'm selling, is it on this chain or on the other chain? So we take cross-chain as a first-class citizen, and we think it's going to become the new normal in the future. And so that's the design of Delta. And we think that this is the product and that's the future. And since we are pivoting, we wanted the brand refresh and the brand positioning to be known as not an aggregator, but as the best trading protocol out there.
Yes, very well explained. Thank you for that. And of course, so yeah, I mean, Velora, look, the website listeners is very simple, velora.xyz. That link, of course, will be in the show notes. It is in the show notes. But yeah, so I guess let's rewind slightly. Mounir, like we said at the beginning, that Velora, and you say it on the website, in fact, Velora is the most advanced intent-based trading protocol and DeFi. Many people will know what that means, but some won't. Just, for the benefit of those listeners, intent-based trading. Just kind of give us the overview.
Well, if you ask me, I still think intent, the way we do it today, is also kind of a jargon, is like a bit technical. But anyways, what we mean by currently today by intent-centric protocols is allowing user to trade without worrying about gas. So it's completely gasless. Also taking care of MEV. So trades don't go in a public mempool, are not visible until the end confirmed. And there is also a price auction. So when the user submits an order, there's a bunch of what we call agents and other call solvers compete for providing the best price for the user. I would say that's an intent. So it's the intent-centric protocol. It's a DEX. It's like a DEX. It's a trading protocol that offers a best execution and better price improvements.
Yep, and there's a number of different platforms that are doing something similar. So, how would you say that Velora, the Velora approach, what you guys are doing, is different to others in the space at the moment?
Yeah, on the intent space, I think we are the only ones who offer cross-chain. Maybe another competitor that does it, but what we know for sure is our cross-chain protocol is quite fast because it relies also on intent. We did it in partnership with Across. It means that between like two layer twos, you can have transaction done in few seconds, sometimes in 2 seconds. And that's also one of the value proposition is you can trade on-chain or cross-chain the same way, not having to make a deposit, waiting for a second party to make another deposit. And like, it's a lot of steps behind the scenes. Here, it's like I made a trade, same chain or cross chain. I just know I make one transaction, and the moment the first transaction happens, and all of this is abstracted to the user, the counterparty is on the way to my wallet. Unlike other protocols who have a complex design that makes the settlement of cross-chain swaps quite long. I would say yes. I'd say effectiveness of cross-chain, I would say we are the ones who are doing it right now. And there are some details on the design mechanisms of the protocol we can, of course, get into. But I would say this is the main value prop on the intent-centric protocols that differentiate us.
Yeah, and I guess the other main value prop that everyone in DeFi is looking for is, and you talked about it yourself, is essentially trying to reduce the complexity for everyday users. It's there are many I guess like on-chain natives, DeFi power users. A little bit of complexity is fine for them. They're used to it. They want it, but to get kind of scale beyond that subset of crypto natives, yeah, we need to make it a little bit easier for people, right?
Indeed. Yes, I think that's the future for like adoption, because so far, maybe with DeFi Summer, like the last cycle, we still had a lot of adoption, like a lot of newcomers came on chain, but that I think definitely was because of incentives and with all the liquidity mining programs and all of this. So people had to do the extra mile to learn things that maybe they're not supposed to. But for real adoption, like effective adoption, where we can see maybe Robinhood and Venmo users using DeFi protocols, I think this is the way. You just need to push a button and buy and sell tokens without having to worry about anything at all until the token you bought shows up in your wallet. And regardless of the chain, because now we can see more and more chains. Just right now, we are supporting 10 chains, and we're thinking of a roadmap for like a 20 or 30. I don't see users having even to memorize what are those chains. So I think abstraction of on-chain and backend type of complexity is the way to go for sure.
Yeah. So how seamless is that experience across those different chains at the moment, and is that just going to continue to get more seamless over time as I guess you add more chains and the user flow gets a little bit easier, but there's always technical challenges, right?
Yes, they are. I would say there are two categories. There are the L2s who kind of look the same, especially the ones who like build on Optimism, the OP stack, where it takes maybe a few hours to deploy a new chain. And then you have other chains like Polygon that have MEV basically that look like those are like L1s, and where it's more challenging to provide a similar service like MEV resistance and high uptime and all of those things. It take more time, but I think even those ecosystems are catching up to the level of Ethereum. I'm saying also L2s because the thing is maybe that's just temporary. there is no MEV in the first place, since the sequencers are centralized, so which makes things much easier. And what others who have more of a decentralized network, they haven't reached the same level in terms of tooling, where like other projects have built the right toolings, anti-MEV especially, but I think it's catching up very quickly. We are in discussion with all of those teams like Avalanche, Polygon, BSC, and we can see a lot of progress being made to like reach the Ethereum mainnet type of, I would say, strength of the toolings.
Yeah, thank you, Mounir. Like, I also are there with the different intent-based trading platforms. Are there standards that are kind of emerging around intent-based trading, or are people kind of approaching this in different ways? Because obviously, if there are standards, it'll just be easier as we go forward for more people to plug in and play, right?
Yes, yes. There's a standard built by Across for like cross-chain intent messaging. That's one of the, I think, first mainstream ideas of like building just a message format, so systems can talk to each other and understand each other. So that's, I think, one of the cool things we saw. We see initiatives, but I think since this is still an emerging category in DeFi or like in crypto in general, I would say it's still too early to talk about established standards, because this means we had the rich critical mass and we like figured out how to really do cross-chain well, which I think is still work in progress. So yeah, there are very good initiatives like the Across ones, but I would say we are maybe still a few years away from reaching like the I would say more established type of standards.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you talked a little bit about Delta, but maybe just cover that off. I'm not sure if we kind of finished that off, because I know Delta is, it's like a new way of trading on Velora. I think you talked about, it's kind of abstracting away gas, minimizing any MEV risks, and so on. Yeah, what is Delta kind of like a game changer? Do you see it as, I guess a way of attracting users to Velora?
Yeah, indeed. We also see new users that we see every beginning of a cycle, like mid cycle, that they are newcomers, and we can clearly see a big difference compared to like 2020, late 2020 or early 2021, where the trending question was about gas and what is gas and how do I deal with gas, and I'm trying to swap and I'm having errors and all of that. With Delta, is quite seamless. We can see users, they're just pushing buttons and not having to think too much. So yeah, a lot of the technical questions, like which seem basic for us, like crypto natives, but maybe because we are in a bubble, we can see less of that. So I definitely think it's the future. And we also talk sometimes with some Web2 type of fintech apps who love this model, because we think a lot about user experience, but also developer experience is important. Most of the devs are not in Web3, and when they come, it's like a mountain of things to learn. But with intent-based protocols, it looks a lot like Web2, because the experience I have as a developer is even simpler than with fintech, because in fintech, the integration with bank APIs, with a lot of old school type of toolings, it can be a big pain. But for Web3, since it's a modern, it's a new field that evolves a lot, I think with intent-centric protocols, I just need to call an API to get a price, and then sign a message and call another API to post my order. Then I can follow up either with a UI Explorer or like an API behind that Explorer, and that's it. Like, it's very, very simple, very straightforward. I don't need to worry about anything else. It's just like interacting with APIs that makes it, even for developers, much easier. So I think in terms of this seen as an infrastructure integrated into even fintech apps who want to expose their users to Web3, or maybe they just want to use it for their backend needs. Like we see a lot of them talking about using stable coins behind the scenes for like remittances or like for international money transfer. I think they can also use us for their internal needs without having to learn like about Web3 under the hood and gas and MEV and all of those things. It's all abstracted. But what I like about also, this is about crypto in general, is we can abstract everything. But if I, as a user or as an engineer, I want to learn more, like understand what's happening behind the hoods, it's everything is transparent. I can do it. Unlike in traditional finance, where if something is a black box, it is a black box by design.
Yeah, very well said. And I guess, speaking of developers, what are some ways that maybe developers can start building with Velora?
It can be something simple like just a swap app where users will be trading tokens for others. So this is very straightforward. There are other things we have built, like with lending protocols, and this has been done since the early days of when we were Paraswap, where we integrate also with lending protocols like Aave, Compound, now also Morpho. And we have built a tool called Superhooks that's been known, I think, publicized by Uniswap before. It's called Hooks in Uniswap v4, where you can do something before, then you do swap, and something after. So some like step 1, step 2, step 3. So what we built something like a generalized hooks. We call them super hooks, where we can do n step. The swap can be second or third or fourth. It's like up to the integrator, like the engineer, to determine that. And it's also they are dynamic. So we can say, I will borrow funds from Aave, for instance, and whatever I receive, I will swap it to another token. And depends like a variable, how much I receive, I will maybe deposit into Morpho and do that in a loop, etc., etc. So that's one of the tools we have built. So we can build even like complete protocols based on that, or maybe some specific needs like repayments of loans, like arbitrage opportunities, and all of that. So yeah, that's one of the cool stuff we have built around Delta.
Yeah, got it. And I guess on that kind of same vibe, you talked about it before, but what needs to be done to just attract those developers? Let's say, Web 2 developers. There's, I guess millions of them really, to Web 3. How can we get them to kind of build out the Web 3 ecosystem? What needs to be done?
Well, I think definitely good documentation and good education, because it's quite intimidating from the outside when we look at crypto, and especially when things are not well documented. And we ask a lot from the engineers is to learn the foundations and to learn about our protocol and the undocumented protocol in general. So I think matching the standards, like the software industry standards of Web 2, which I think we are there most of the time. But education, I think, is maybe the way to go, is educating more Web 2 engineers, something we can see happening in hackathons. It's always one of the ways to build the adoption through hackathons. But yes, like talking more about crypto, and I think time means market cycles help a lot, and I think this cycle should be attracting also new engineers curious about the industry and the technology and all of that. But yes, I think the simplicity of using protocols like intent-centric ones is also very helpful.
Yes, indeed. Let's talk like trading volumes or any kind of metrics that you're happy to share. Mounir, like DeFi loves a metric. Just what can you tell us about? Yeah, I don't know, different volumes, different trading metrics. Just give us an idea of what is being processed through Velora, and maybe the different kind of segments of traders. If you kind of have any insight into what you think that looks like. Different segments of people that are using Velora.
Yeah, sure. So today we reached $109 billion in volume. It was just crossed like a few hours ago. Volume are volatile, so some days we can see like 100 million, other days can be 300. The all-time high we've done, I think, was last year when USDC was depegging, so we got almost to 700 million in 24 hours. So yes, the thing is that the space is getting bigger. And remember the days when we were starting, it was unimaginable. Like the whole DeFi was doing maybe 1 or 2 millions. And yeah, the space is getting more and more bigger, and I think it's going to continue. Like we're shooting for maybe another 100x growth in the next few years. Users, it depends. So in our front end, depends also on the chains. Like on Ethereum, we have more whales. On small chains like Base, we have more small users buying and selling few tokens. Most of the volume comes from protocol users. So it can be other dApps, wallets like Ledger, Morpho, Aave, and others, or some like traders like doing arbitrage and all of that. So yeah, it's quite diverse. Our UI is one of the biggest user, but it has only now 10% market share.
Yeah. Okay, very good. And as we start to finish up this part of the podcast, yeah, what are you working on? What is happening in terms of the Velora product pipeline, if you like? Anything that you can share on that front?
Sure, yes. We're expanding to more chains, and now Delta is on 3 chains. We're looking forward to cover at least all the chains we have in the aggregator side. So every user can trade gasless in a price improved way. And also we're looking slowly into non-EVM chains. It's a bit challenging because we have to rewrite most of the software, but we can see a lot of traction, and some are established like Solana, some who are promising like the move-based chains like Sui and Co. Expanding also on the cross-chain side. We started a few months ago, and we are going to double down on cross-chain in this philosophy of we think that the future is intent, so is cross-chain. So yeah, those are things we are working on and looking forward to.
Very good. And well, let's finish up this part of the podcast then, and we'll do that by just for people that have not yet used Velora, just tell people what is the best way for people to go and learn more and get stuck in and get trading on Velora.
I just said in the beginning, Velora.xyz. It's quite simple, and they can go there. They can follow us in Twitter. But anyways, all the links are in Velora.xyz.
Very good. All right. It's time to finish off the show then. We do that, of course, by running you through, Mounir, the very famous crypto conversation hot take round. Are you up for it?
Let's go.
Let's go. I'm just going to run some questions at you, Mounir. I just want you to kind of give me your hot take style answers, if you like. It's just a bit of fun. Question 1 for you. Let's see what you have to say. The question is, where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
What I say on the Bitcoin maximalist, I don't believe in maximalism at all. Not in Bitcoin and not in any other chain.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, and probably very sensible today. What would you say then is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
My conviction crypto opinion is that crypto will replace fiat in the future, and especially with the age of AI and the progress in technology in general. So I think we're gonna at some point be using cryptocurrencies, which form I don't know, but I think we're gonna replace fiat currencies in maybe the next decades, I would say, realistically.
I like it. All right. Well, look, another way of thinking about this is, of course, a quote by Bill Gates, who famously said, we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So I guess you kind of just talked about crypto in 10 years' time. Maybe, what else? Velora in 10 years' time. What does it look like?
Well, since I'm bullish on the growth of crypto and more adoption, so I would say Velora used by users, like by retail users, by dApps and wallet in crypto, but also outside of crypto, by fintech apps, by big institutions for multiple use cases. It can be for trading crypto, but it can be also for trading tokenized real world assets that I think are moving, is just a matter of time, all into blockchains.
Very good. All right. And another way of thinking about this is a quote by William Gibson, who, of course, said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. So with that in mind, can you think of an example of the future being here right now, but most people aren't aware of it?
Future being here right now, most people are not aware of it. I think, yeah, some things we don't see in the West, but in many emerging countries that have issues with their currency, Argentina, for instance, being one, and many other countries, is that there is already a huge adoption of stable coins. Even I saw a few days ago, I don't know which country, but prices are really denominated in USDT. So the thing is, the adoption of stable coins is real, and that's also it means adoption of crypto, and it's happening today. It's not. We're no longer in the we are early meta. We are already there, and stable coins and crypto is already solving real problems, and that's I think it's a future that's happening already.
Yes, indeed. It's a future that's happening already. And it brings us nicely to the final question, which is, what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show?
Well, I wasn't expecting that question, but always the first thing that comes to mind will be Matrix, is the first movie that comes to mind.
Yeah, and that's a good answer, really. That's yeah, The Matrix is how I have answered this question in the past, because yeah, I mean, it's first Matrix film was a classic piece of sci-fi,
Yeah.
and kind of an early harbinger of everything from, simulation theory to the singularity, AI, and so on and so forth, right?
Indeed, yes, I agree.
All right. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us today. Mounir, please take it out by, again, just telling people where they can go to learn all about what you guys are doing with intent-based trading at Velora. Shout out your socials, both business and personal. Go for gold.
Yeah, sure. Velora.xyz. That's the best place to start. Also in X is Velora Dex. Velora Dex, like a Dex decentralized exchange. So Velora Dex or Velora.xyz.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All the best, and bye for now.
Thank you, Andy.